and here we go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. My name is Samrak.
And I'm Marco.
We are about to do a roast of 2022 video reaction. It's from Stephen Tries. I'm not familiar with this person. Are you?
Not really, no.
Yeah, so apparently it's his perspective on the year that we just passed. Again, if you would like to check out the video for yourself, in the link in the description down below. So Marco, are we ready?
I'm ready.
So you're pretty familiar with pop culture, yeah? You're in the know. Try to be in the know.
Yeah. I know what's going on.
Oh, you know what's going on? Probably more than me, because usually Zara is the one that does that for us. You know, she knows, she's in the know with a lot of things, not everything. Yeah, so we're ready to give this a try.
Yeah.
So if you do like this reaction, please like, comment, subscribe, and also hit that notification bell. All right, let's do it. Again, this is Stephen Tries, the roast of 2022, and here we go.
2022. Sure, it's the age range on your divorced dad's Tinder, but it's also the year everything went back to normal. Kind of.
Yeah.
I've worked my absolute arse off to get where I am now.
Back in January, Boris Johnson was Prime Minister, COVID was rife, and YouTubers collabing with Speed was just something done at parties. At the beginning of the month, Molly May went from humping Fury to sparking it. As she stated,
you
we
know
all
Molly
have
May?
the same 24 hours in a day to achieve stuff. So inspiring. Molly May smashes through the glass ceiling and then gets her assistant to sweep it up. Elsewhere, reports emerged that 2 parties were held at Downing Street during lockdown. One was even on the night before Prince Philip's funeral. That is so rotten, said The Undertaker. Thankfully, we managed to obtain some of the footage from the gathering.
Good boy.
I'm not familiar with this
That's
one.
why we call it Downing Street. Good husband.
Prime Minister, shouldn't we be isolating?
Nah, the only thing I'm trying to lock down is a piece of fatty. Oh, you'd have to help out, eh?
What about the guidelines?
Hey, don't you worry. I've been guiding lads over nose all night. Oh, how about a top up? Oh, yes, please. Could you help with the ball? Fat chance of that happening.
It was almost impossible for me to sweat.
In February, the Queen celebrated her
Oh, this is more
70th
like
anniversary.
from Europe.
She did it in style.
It looks like
by
that's
giving
what
£12
it
million
is.
to Prince Andrew for an out-of-court settlement. I mean, fucking hell. We live in a country which, during a cost of living crisis, would rather give away £12 million of taxpayers' money than rightfully jail a paedophile, allegedly. But what are you doing about this, Stephen, I hear you ask? Well, for every Prince Andrew joke I make in this video, I'll donate
I don't know Prince
£250 to
Andrew.
a children's charity. Let's help the kids rather than help ourselves to them. That one doesn't
Wow.
count. Get off. Later that month, tragedy struck as Vladimir Putin's Russia invaded the border.
Oh.
An old man hadn't
Everyone
crossed the
does
line
that.
like that since Prince Andrew's last visit to Epstein Island. Rack it up, guys. Storm Eunice hit Britain with winds of over 120 miles per hour. That many people haven't been blown away since Curtis Pritchard's performance in Hollyoaks.
Keep my wife's name.
In March,
You know that
there
one.
was controversy at the
obviously.
Oscars when Will Smith smacked Chris Rock for making a joke about his wife. Talk about a punchline. Speaking of controversial bald heads, Andrew Tate came into the limelight. Clips of his misogynistic views went viral as he gained a large following. That many virgins hadn't been entertained since the fleshlight was invented. Later that month, the world was divided as 2 rivals went at it. Step aside. Out the way, Bloods and Crips. Move back, James Corden and Diabetes. It's time for Doors versus Wheels. I'm still not sure who won.
I'm about to disrupt a football match.
It's a cycle lane, twat. In April, Boris Becker was jailed for 2.5 years for tax evasion. He hadn't been that ashamed at a court since losing to Tim Henman. Elsewhere, Bazinga announced he was becoming a father, meaning Harry wouldn't be the only sideman to be feeling a bump this year. And lastly, Just Stop Oil protests increased, with one man tying himself to the goalpost at an Everton game.
Well, he's just stood there looking clueless, the little moppers.
Yeah, enough about Lampard though. What did you make of the protester? But that wasn't the end of the protests. There were people vandalising art, buildings, and even gluing themselves to roads. I've managed to track down one of these wacky hippies to see what it's all about. Bernie, hi.
Don't!
That better be cum.
Funnily enough, it was tractors
what?
I was looking at.
In May, N-Dubs announced their return. This was like the second coming of Christ. if Jesus turned water into WKD and gave chlamydia to the 5,000.
Bit of a cheap joke, that.
You piss off. MP Neil Parish was caught watching porn in the House of Commons. He claimed he was searching about tractors when he came across a website with a very similar name. What was it? Cornhub? Plough Me Hard? Spread Your Seed All Over Me Batty.com? Excuse me.
My dog stepped on a bee.
Oh, just a big trial.
The Queen's Platinum Jubilee party. Prince Andrew couldn't go due to coronavirus, or in his case, COVID. I thought she was 19. Speaking of sitting on the throne, the Elvis film starring Austin Butler came out to rave reviews. We actually have a special clip from one of the most moving scenes. After 2 months, the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial concluded. Heard had to pay over $10 million to Johnny Depp for damaging his reputation. What did she do? Cast him in Sherlock Holmes? R. Kelly was sentenced to prison for 30 years, or as he put it, a cheeky pair of 15s. Wow. And on the 24th of June, the US Supreme Court overturned the Roe versus Wade ruling, meaning abortion was now illegal in many states. These old men deciding what to do with women's bodies. Just cut it out, will you?
Hasta la vista.
Wow.
In July, temperatures exceeded 40 degrees for the first time ever in the UK. Was it global warming, or just Prince Andrew burning his hard drives again? And on the 7th of July, Boris Johnson resigned as Prime Minister. And what a legacy he leaves behind. From mishandling the pandemic and killing more nans than Harold Shipman, to underfunding the NHS. I mean, the only people to work harder than them during COVID was the fucking Downing Street DJs. Oh, good riddance, you big blonde bellend. In more good news, England's Lionesses won the European Championships, beating Germany 2-1 in the final. I haven't seen that many women kicking off in boots since the January sales. And lastly, a story broke that Prince William was having an affair. Apparently his love of pegging was too much for partner Kate, and he saw another woman to fulfil his needs. The last royal to get rear-ended like that was his mother.
Because I ain't 14 stone, that's why.
In August, Anthony Joshua lost his rematch to Usyk in the Middle East. He reacted by throwing the belts out the ring and delivering a speech so bad it could have been sponsored by Hermes. Mind you, he's not the first man to take a pounding in Saudi Arabia and lose his head. Later that month, drought was declared in the UK amid the driest period since 1976. Oh, it hasn't rained for a couple of weeks and my lilies are thirsty. Dry period. Try being a virgin for 23 years. That's a dry period. I imagine.
And lastly, Nightmare KSI fought 2 people in one night. The last man to have that much action in the ring was Prince William.
In September, Liz Truss was appointed Prime Minister, becoming the 3rd ever female to do so. With her and the Queen at the helm, it was a real time for girl power. But it wasn't to be. 2 days later, Queen Elizabeth II passed away. For William and many others, her death left a hole that no strap-on could fill.
Wow.
Charles inherited the throne and Andrew got the corgis, bringing a whole new meaning to the term dog groomer. The country was literally brought to a standstill as people queued for hours to see the Queen lying in state. We managed to grab a word with some of the lucky few in the queue.
I'll be licking my stamps a little bit harder tomorrow.
I'm absolutely devastated. I adored Bohemian Rhapsody.
Queuing all day for that. If I wanted to see someone make no movements in a box, I'd watch Everton.
Lastly, the Sidemen charity match was a great success, with over 2.6 million concurrent viewers. Although the biggest stream that day came from Chris and Dee's eyes when he watched his performance back.
I see good things about Hitler also.
In October, TV Show This Morning ran a competition offering to pay energy bills as a prize. Of course, Philip Schofield keeps his house warm by spit roasting teenagers, allegedly. Elon Musk bought Twitter for $44 billion,
I know about this one.
making McDonald's the second biggest company to be owned by a clown. James Corden was in the spotlight when he was banned from a top New York restaurant and accused of stealing comedians' jokes. He responded to both events by saying, "Is it 'cause I is black?" Elsewhere, Kanye swapped Kim K for KKK.
Wow.
As he declared his admiration for the Nazi Party. After repeated anti-Semitic comments, Adidas said, "Hey, it's 3 stripes and you're out." Never mind. We managed to get an exclusive interview with Mr. West himself. Mr. West, thank you very much for joining us. Now, your comments recently made you a millionaire. Of course, you were a billionaire before that. I've actually got a few more of those, if you like that. We know a lot of rappers like to talk about the hood. but those aren't white and pointy. You recently said Jewish people run everything. But the basketballs that ran a train on your ex-wife aren't Jewish.
Wow.
Where did he go?
Ross, don't get me singing, I'm terrible.
In November, Matt Hancock was paid £400,000 to be a contestant on I'm a Celebrity. Hey, if I wanted to see a Tory chewing a rat's cock, I'd watch the footage of him and his secretary. I'm a celebrity. These people in charge are dirty, lying scum. Not my words, but their ex-wives. And he came third! Who's going to be on it next year? Prince Andrew? And there's a real predator in the jungle. Nope. Then the World Cup of Qatar started. The tournament received a lot of criticism due to the human rights record. But one footballer who wasn't afraid of getting his arse licked was Cristiano Ronaldo when he was interviewed by Piers Morgan. And lastly, Balenciaga were cancelled for posting pictures of children holding teddy bears in BDSM gear. Their clothing was less River Island and more Epstein Island.
I don't know about that one.
In December, the World Cup was well underway, and the England team really raised the bar. Unfortunately, Kane's penalty still went over it. Ultimately, it was Messi and Argentina who lifted the trophy. Of course, it wasn't just Kane's penalties that had been missed this year. We lost some great people along the way. Let's take a look.
R.I.P. Oh, she went too.
So there we have it, 2022, a year in which we gained our freedom and lost our minds. All that's left for me to do now is donate this money to charity. There you go. Of course, that is prop money, and this is just a highly trained actor. I have actually donated. See it here. If you want to get involved, click the link in the description. On that note, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Bye-bye.
Elvis in the bathroom.
Oh God, it's all over my blue suede shoes!
So a lot of the references is from the UK, from overseas. So I didn't get it. Do you get them?
Some of the overseas stuff, no. Some of it obviously was more geared towards them. But
yeah.
But yeah, at least there was some things in there.
Yeah, something that we recognize, like the Kanye, the Will Smith. Just I guess the public figures of the United States, of course. So what do you think? Those little puns that he put behind.
There was a lot of laughs in there.
Yeah, that Kanye one was hilarious too. The basketball. Yeah. So overall, we got like part of this. There's still some funny moments, but like stuff that's overseas, I didn't quite get it. I'm not really up to date as far as like world news, so FYI.
Yeah, no, I'm more of a obviously a pop
culture.
Yeah.
So that was the Rose of 2022 by Stephen Tries. If you do like our reaction, please like, comment, subscribe, also hit the notification bell. Again, that was the Rose of 2022 by Stephen Tries. My name is Samrak and this is Marco. Currently here out in Salt Lake City, Utah for a few more days. So the gang will be back together soon. So thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.
Bye.